Hello, first graders. Welcome back. This is week 4, day 3. For today's lesson, all you need is your thinking cap and your listening ears. So we can get started with our lesson. We're going to start our lesson today with a new song. Our song is called Spied a Feather. I want to share this song with you because it's about birds' feathers. I'll sing the song while you listen. Throughout this song, we have some new vocabulary words. Some of the words might be familiar, so they might be a review. The first vocabulary word is the word soar. Soar means to fly high. Our second vocabulary word is the word curved. Curved means something that is not straight. And our third vocabulary word is the word down. Now, we think of the word down as in the direction down, and while that's here to help us pronounce the word, this word down means fine, soft, or fuzzy feathers. Fuzzy feathers. We were going to sing our Spied a Feather song. As you listen to me sing it first, think about those vocabulary words. Are your listening ears on? Okay, let's get started. Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I wonder what kind of feather it is that I have found. Looked closely, looked closely, looked closely with my eye. A long, strong feather helps a bird soar swiftly through the sky. Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I wonder what kind of feather it is that I have found. Held it up, held it up, held it up in the sunlight. A curved red feather gives a bird a color that is bright. Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I wonder what kind of feather it is that I have found. Picked it up, picked it up, picked it up and held it tight. A soft down feather helps a bird stay warm at night. Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I am so very lucky, a feather I have found. Okay, now that you've listened to me sing the song, this time you're going to join me. This song moves quickly, and we sing it to the Clementine nursery rhyme. Are you ready? You can follow my mouse on the side to help you keep track of where we are. Ready? Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I wonder what kind of feather it is that I have found. Looked closely, looked closely, looked closely with my eye. A long, strong feather helps a bird soar swiftly through the sky. Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I wonder what kind of feather it is that I have found. Held it up, held it up, held it up in the sunlight. A curved red feather gives a bird a color that is bright. Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I wonder what kind of feather it is that I have found. Picked it up, picked it up, picked it up and held it tight. A soft down feather helps a bird stay warm at night. Spied a feather, spied a feather, spied a feather on the ground. Oh, I am so very lucky, a feather I have found. Good job. Maybe you have spied a feather while you're out walking around and you've looked closely at it. In our song today, we had 3 vocabulary words. So we're going to add those words to our bird word wall. Let's read all of the words together, starting here. Bird, feather, wings, beak, soar, curved, and down. Good job. We will continue to add words to our bird word wall throughout our unit. And our texts are over here on the shelves. Birds and feathers, not just for flying. Today's learning target says, I can ask and answer questions to help me understand the meaning of words and phrases in a text. This is a tricky learning target, so let's read it again. I can ask and answer questions to help me understand the meaning of words and phrases in a text. We will be asking and answering questions as we do a language dive. Our language dive will be about a sentence from our text, Feathers, Not Just for Flying. Remember, a language dive is where we take a sentence and we try to understand the meaning of the words and phrases. Today, our language dive sentence comes from this page of our text. Listen as I read it to you. Birds and feathers go together, like trees and leaves, like stars and the sky. All birds have feathers, but no other animals do. Most birds have thousands of feathers, but those feathers aren't all the same. That's because feathers have so many different jobs to do. Our sentence that we're going to focus on today is right here. That's because feathers have so many different jobs to do. Can you read that sentence with me? That's because feathers have so many different jobs to do. Now, I have taken this sentence and put it on little pieces of paper called chunks that we're going to use to help us emphasize different parts of the sentence as we think about the meaning of the words and phrases. That's because feathers have so many different jobs to do. When looking at the sentence, what does the sentence mean? What does the sentence mean? Share your thinking with me. That's right. I can add on by saying feathers have lots of different purposes. That's what our sentence is trying to tell us. Our first chunk says, that's because. What does this chunk tell us? Share your thinking. This chunk is sort of like saying why feathers are not all the same. Our next chunk, feathers have. What is this chunk about? It's about feathers. And what does this chunk tell us about the feathers? It's telling us that they have something. So many different jobs to do. So what do feathers have? They have so many different jobs to do. We probably couldn't even list all of the different jobs feathers have because there's just so many different jobs. In this sentence, I really like the word so. That's because feathers have many different jobs to do. So many different jobs to do. That word so, it really intensifies our adjective many. It's not just that feathers have many different jobs to do. They have so many different jobs to do. Let's read the sentence and let's really emphasize that word so. That's because feathers have so many different jobs to do. That word so is a simple word, but it really tells us a lot. Now, if the author didn't have the word different in the sentence, what would that make the sentence mean? That's because feathers have so many jobs to do. Does that change the meaning of the sentence? It does. We need that word different to help us to understand that feathers don't have the same job. They have different jobs. This time, I want you to think about one job that feathers do. I'll be thinking too. Okay, have you thought of one thing that feathers do? Now, when we read our sentence this time, I want you to act out how feathers can help birds. I remember from our text, Feathers Not Just for Flying, that we learned that bird feathers can help camouflage the birds so that they can hide from their predators. So when we read it, I'm going to act like I'm hiding, still on a tree from my predators. Let's read and act out one job. That's because feathers have so many different jobs to do. What feather job did you act out? Good job. Today, you were able to ask and answer questions to help me understand the meaning of the words and the phrases in a text. We took a little language dive into a sentence from our book. Good job. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.